Hi, welcome back. Had a really good break and ready to get back on with the Cortina after spending 2 weeks in Thailand in the sun, which was lovely. Did a bit of car spotting, saw some sights, and even got myself a gear knob from Moon Eyes, which just looked awesome, which I'll show you in a bit. Little bit tired still, bit jet lagged, so I'm going to keep this intro pretty short and just get straight into bare metal in the engine bay because I think that's the level I'm at mentally today. It's been a couple of days. Still working on this, but I've been distracted by having to actually work, which is quite frustrating actually. But more importantly, pick this up again today. So you might remember I mentioned it recently, or I don't know if I did. I had some problems with this. I could mount the throttle bodies, but only two of the drillings out of all 8 were correct. Couldn't do anything at the top, which is a bit of a problem when you kind of want to mount these things. And I took it to a mate of mine who's a great, fabricator, engineer. He's a great engineer. He's a great machinist. And said, can you have a look at it? And that was a month ago. Yeah, because it's just after I finished the wiring loom. And yeah, I'll have a look. And what it's had to have done is all the holes have had to be welded up, jigged up, whatever else. And this has been done between jobs and whatever else. So it's a bit of a favour, which is really good of him. But now I've got a manifold not only fits, it's also flat because apparently it was about 4 mil out in some places. So it's been properly skimmed on both sides. It's square, it'll seal, it'll work. And that means now I can do a test fit on this. I can start putting the throttle linkage together, getting that set up, because what I want to do is start working out the throttle cable. And I've also got this tiny clevis. Mainly the reason is, the throttle cable, I'm trying to work out which end the cable will, let me think. You've got an end of a cable that's a bit like where you got the barrel of it. So that's what you pull against, and then the other end you tighten it up, and then whatever else. I'm trying to work out which end needs to go where. Because what I've seen for this throttle linkage is that this would normally take the barrel and you'd then tighten it at the pedal, whereas the Lotus pedal seems to be the other way. So you'd have the barrel at this end, tighten the other end. And again, not a problem if I figure out which one's which. What I did have a problem with is the clevis that you'd use for the Lotus pedal that I bought was 40 quid. It's a lot for a piece of metal, for such a small piece of metal. And I don't really want to pay that. So I bought some clevises, with pins for about 2 quid each. And what we've got at the end is an M4 fitting. This will fit on, I have test fitted it. All I need to do is make an end that will go on here that will either take a barrel or a tightening piece, and then, but I need to get it all set up and whatever else. So I think first off, I'm going to build this lot up. Cylinder head still off, as is, because I'm still doing the paint, so I'm not desperate. But I figured, well, it's 5 minutes, isn't it? I can do that before I have to go out. So let's get on with it whilst I've still got time. So they're mostly built up. I'm going to take the studs out at some point because I need to make a new air filter bracket, and I need to sort out the cable throttle. So I've just left that for the minute, but I'll have a play. But at least now these are flat and they've got a proper machine face, so it should seal. Can't see why not. So I'm really happy with that. Been a bit of a week, and I've had quite a lot of stuff on at work, so I've not done as much as I want, but I'll show you what I have managed to get up to. And here we go. So the engine bay is now, I'd say, mostly bare metal. That down there is Raptor, which I'll blend it. I'm going to have to do a bit of sanding in there to blend it. Also, because I've still got the brake line fitted here, because I'm trying to just work out clearances with the fuel line and stuff, which I need to order. But I'd say mostly bare metal now. There's a little bit of work I want to do, like, obviously I've had strut tops put in. This was back in, 2005? And they're structurally fine. They just needs a bit of neatening up. So I think I'm going to probably do a bit of lead loading on this, because what I've also found is that hinge bracket there is lower than the strut top, and this one is more correct because it should be above the wing. Problem with that is making that side higher and in line with the wing means I've got to then cut a load of metal out here and start again. And this is all structurally fine. What I don't want to do is cut a load of metal out and then have to weld it in, and it would end up being wrong, because I think I'll end up making that side too high. So I'm going to do what I did before, which was I blended these in. Yeah, there's a little bit of filler there, but I'm probably going to use lead for that as well, because it'll move with these, because it was this side. I put a little bit down on this back because it dips in. And I ended up with a crack there because the normal filler that you'd use doesn't flex, whereas lead loading will, and I can blend that in quite nicely. Yes, it's not standard. Yes, it'll look different to a standard car, but I'm cool with it. And as it's towards the end of the week, I am going to go to the NEC, because I quite fancy going to the Classic Car Show. So let's just see if I see anything interesting, and I'll talk about it probably now. Can't believe I actually saw this. So this is based off a prototype concept car called the Saxon, and there's so many fine details to this. It's just too much to go into, but it looks amazing. And this is the GT40 powered Supervan 1, the original one that's just been restored, and I can't believe I'm seeing it in the flesh. So this is Clarkson's Monte Carlo for the Grand Tour finale, and it looks awesome. We could do like
then next to it was Oliver from the original African special, and it has been well restored, and this is the first time I've seen it, and I just love it. It looks so cool.
So I had a good day at the NEC. Met Will, who has a green Mark 1, who's on the Pride of Ownership stand, which was awesome that they've got a Mark 1 on there, and it's a really good Mark 1. And I appreciate him showing me the throttle pedal because his is already cable, and unfortunately I didn't take any photos or videos of that car, which I should have done, so I apologise for that. But I did buy something pretty cool, and I'll show you that now. And the other thing I bought was this. I've wanted this book for years. I remember you used to see it in Halfords when I used to go get bike bits when I was in my teens. Finally got a copy because I've been putting it off for years. And I've always fancied building one, mainly because I can build a Mark. Oh, let me think. They did a super sports version with the 1500 in, and I like the idea of having a spare working engine given what's happened. And I think putting it in something like a 7 style kit car would be really cool, because I could do a bit of development work on it, and I haven't got to worry about trying to keep it original, even though I'm not keeping this one original. But I like the idea of trying to push the limits for 1500. But let me know what you think. And with that, I think I'm done for this week. I've got some lead loading sticks ordered, full kit. That should be here soon. So the plan is to try and get the inner wings almost finished. Inlet manifold, cylinder head and inlet manifold back on. I can try and plan where everything's going to go. But I'm going to do some stuff on the lead loading specifically because I think it'd be quite cool. It's not something that many people do these days. So let me know what you think, and I hope you're all well. Been a bit burnt out recently, as you can probably tell, a bit low energy, but starting to get a bit of motivation back again, so hopefully things should start flowing. Anyway, I'll stop waffling and I'm going to go watch the F1. So, see you later.